Introduce me or something. Oh.
I think you're still sitting. Nope, we're ready for you.
Okay.
If you need to do anything,
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I know everyone's eating, so I'll try to talk loudly. Can you all hear me okay?
yes.
And if for some reason you cannot, just give me a signal to increase the volume. I also happen to be a fast talker. No, I'm not a fast talker. I talk fast. There's a difference. So if I am talking too fast, just let me know. Someone give me a signal. I am happy to be with you all today, and I think that this topic is so important. And what I know is that no one's talking about it. Not enough people are talking about it. And the FBI, for the very first time, has included AI-powered crimes in their statistics. So the numbers are increasing. The Better Business Bureau are tracking AI-related incidents. So this is something that is real, and it's going to impact every single one of you, not only on the business level, but on the personal level. So today I only have a little less than an hour with you all, and my presentation is typically 3 hours. So all I can say is hold on. No, but I'm going to do this in a different manner. I'm trying to get the most important, and we have a hard stop at 1. So I will be stopping at or before 1 o'clock. So my goal is to get the most important information in up front. And also, since we're not necessarily going to have time for questions at the end, I want you all to raise your hand, jump in, and ask questions as we go along. Is that clear? And keep in mind also that I will stick around for a while after the presentation, so if we don't get your question answered or you have more, I will be happy to do that for you. Okay, 6 things that we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about deepfakes, voice cloning, and impersonations, how criminals are using AI tools to scam and defraud all of us. Number 2, we're going to talk about phishing and business email, how they're using these AI tools to write perfectly grammatically correct phishing emails. We're going to talk about owner vendor fraud. That's something that you all are going to need to worry about. Listing, application, and document fraud. They're using the tools to create near perfect documents. So I'm going to talk about that. Data disasters and unsafe AI usage. I need to tell you all how to use AI in a safe manner so that you're not doing anything that could jeopardize yourself or your business. And finally, how to review, how to verify what you're seeing, because we are no longer able to tell what you see if it's real or not. So that's a scary world, but that's the world we are living in. Okay, first question. Who can tell me their first car? Yes.
I drove a Toyota RAV4.
Toyota RAV4. Okay, she said stick shift. Okay, someone else, give me your first car. 56 Buick. Oh, okay. One more.
2013 GMC Terrain.
Okay, 2013 GMC. Okay, next question. Who has a favorite book? A favorite book that you all want to share? I know you all, somebody has a favorite book. Yes.
A Walk to Remember.
What was it?
A Walk to Remember.
A Walk to Remember. Okay, thank you. I need one more. How about this table's awfully quiet? I need a favorite book. Favorite book? I'll say we don't read. Not anymore. I'm just going to stand here until someone says something.
Millionaire Next Door.
Millionaire Next Door. That makes sense. Stacy said Millionaire Next Door. Okay. How about a high school mascot?
Mine were the Huskies.
Huskies. Any Bishop Hogan Rams here? Yes. Oh, what? Finally, there's never any Rams, no matter what. I need one more high school mascot.
Vikings.
Vikings. Trojans. Okay, thank you. Guess what just happened? We were all socially engineered. That's when criminals find a way to trick us into sharing information that we typically would not share. Information that they can use to steal our identity or hack into our accounts and basically to scam and defraud us. So social engineering, bottom line, is they're tricking us. There's nothing wrong with it. We all do this on a regular basis. My goal is that starting today, you are very careful with the information that you share, so that you understand if someone is trying to defraud you, you understand the questions that they're asking. Okay, so what is social?
I think it will help with the sound.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Are you guys good to still go in and out?
Okay. I feel like I'm yelling.
I don't want you to. Thank you. I think it'll drown out the background music.
Okay, excuse me. Okay, thank you. So let's talk about what social engineering What does it look like in the property management world? Okay, social engineering, cyber criminals are trying to get property managers to reveal information. They want your financial information. They want your client's financial information. They want your personal information, okay? They also are targeting renters and landlords. They're pretending to be you. And they're trying to trick tenants into giving them money. And if the tenants accidentally give cyber criminals money, do you get to rent that property? Are you successful? Absolutely not. So this is not about just you being safe and working safely. It's also about protecting your tenants. That means your property owners. That means the would-be potential tenants. Your goal is to educate them so that there will actually be money for the transaction to go forward. Most people are not talking about this, so that's what I'm doing today. What happens if you get locked out of an online account, whether social media or a bank or financial account? What happens? You say, forgot password, and what are some of the challenge questions that they're going to ask you?
Where you went to school, your first car.
Exactly. Mother's maiden name, street you grew up on, your favorite book, your first card. So you see where I'm going with this. Bottom line is, going forward, be social, but be very careful the information that you share when you're on social media. Probably the biggest social engineering story is probably one of the most tragic ones. In Caesars, MGM, a couple of years ago, they had an employee who was socially engineered. Because that employee did not know what to look for, they gave too much information and they shared too much information. And as a result, the MGM had a data breach. They were not able to work at all. They could not check anyone in. They couldn't take reservations. Even the elevator wouldn't work because their card key did not work. One employee cost that organization $110 million. That's not the worst damage. What do you think the other damage is? Far worse than how much it cost them. Think about Caesars MGM. How many people do you, say again? PR, yeah. So their reputational damage. How many people do you think were waiting in line to hand their credit card over to Caesars right after that breach? My goal is that your organization, your company, does not have a data breach, because if it does, that can damage you directly. So the goal is to learn how to prevent this, and that's what we're going to do today. You need to be careful the information that you share on social media. So the employee at Caesars, he or she was too familiar. They were able to talk to them as if they knew them. They got a comfort level with that employee, and then therefore that employee opened the gate and allowed them to access the information. How many of you all are on social media? Raise your hand, nice and proud. And how many of you love posting about what's going on in your life, what's going on in your business? We do it. We all do it a little bit. We all do it, okay? And that's what you're told to do. Any business class tells you to be active on social media, to post, to get to know people, because people do business with people they like, know, and trust, right? So they're saying share yourself on social media. I'm not quite there yet, but they're saying share some of your personal life, share yourself. I am telling you, beware what you share. So if you have pictures of your pet, and that is perfectly fine, pictures of your kids, where you live, the part of town, where you go on vacation, if someone picks up the phone and they call you, can they talk about things in your life and you may think, oh, they know me, they must know me because they're sharing this information. Am I right? That's why you need to be very careful about the information that you share, because not only are your friends and your family and your business contacts looking at that information, cyber criminals are looking at it too, because they want to know who you are, they want to know which buttons to push so that they can befriend you, and then they move in for the kill. And we're going to talk about that. There's no such thing as privacy. That's on social media. That also means that all of the AI tools, when you're uploading pictures, images on those tools, keep in mind no such thing as privacy. How many of y'all are doing these trends? Upload your picture and you can do the cute little trends. We're doing it. You're doing it, right?
No, I see it all day.
Oh, people are doing it.
But people are doing it.
People are doing it. Anyone seeing this online?
I did it.
Have you? You did it? Okay. Obviously, I did it. It's fun. It's the right thing to do. I mean, it's the right thing for business, because I'm showing people, hey, I'm relevant. I'm keeping up on this. I talk about cybersecurity, but I'm saying I keep up on this. One thing you need to be aware of is the tools that you're uploading your picture to. So I use tools like Gemini. I use ChatGPT. What you need to be careful of is making sure that the tools that you're using have security protocols in place. If someone's sitting in their basement and they create this fun little cartoon tool, and then you upload your picture and you don't know who it is, then you don't know who has access to your biometric information. Your face, your identity could be out there for anyone and everyone to see and to possibly misuse. So my advice is if you're going to do these challenges, upload your photo only to recognize names. That's the big ones like the Geminis, the chats, the big name tools. So use it in a careful manner. My goal, and I get to do this for real estate professionals across the country, even in Canada. My goal is to show you how to show your value by leading with safety. I want you all to be the professionals, the real estate professionals, the property management professionals, educating property owners. You're saying, hey guys, there are these scams that are out here. Let's sit down and talk about it. You can do that when you're talking to them, trying to get the business. You can do that to add value to your relationship with them. Hey, here's what I just found out. These scams are happening. You know, here's a little information sheet. I want to make sure you're up to date and that you know exactly what's going on. So my goal is that you do that for your tenants. Hey guys, don't wire money to anyone without talking to me, and here are the protocols. So I want you to show the value. I had the honor of being selected by the National Association of Realtors to host the country's only real estate safety podcast, and we won an award doing so. I also get to write for Realtor Magazine, Inman, RIS Media, so I have a big platform, I have a big voice. If any of you all ever have a question or a story that needs to be told that no one's talking about, an issue that's happening, please let me know. If you are dealing with an issue, more than likely I've written about it, done a podcast about it, talked about it at some point, so reach out to me. I am your resource for any safety and security and cybersecurity information in the real estate industry. I got an opportunity to write a couple of articles for Narpm, and I also did a webinar for Narpm. That's 2 or 3 years ago, so I'm sure that is there somewhere. I happen to have a twin sister. She's sitting in the room, and some of you may think, oh, is it the same person? No, there are two of us, and Stacy was on our podcast, our NAR podcast, talking about property management safety. So I would encourage you to take a peek at that. If you go to Drive with NAR, you can see the property management safety edition. I also created a Facebook page where I talk about nothing but real estate safety. So that's where my articles land. That's where if something's in the news, I'm talking about it there. I'm educating you there. 4 types of businesses. 1 is one that will be hacked. 2 is one that's been hacked, but they just don't know it yet. 3 is one, got that wrong, one that has been hacked. And I'm not going to ask anyone here if you've been hacked, because more than likely your business has, you may have personally, or you know someone who has. And then the group that I am talking to today, the ones who want to make sure you take the steps to never be hacked. And again, I have a program I created specifically for the property management world. It's a certification program, and I had an opportunity to do this for other property Narpm chapters. Tighten up. That is a complete sentence. There was a data breach, an MLS breach a couple of years ago, and as a result of that data breach, agents were not able to access the MLS. They could not get information, up-to-date information. Their clients couldn't either. So agents in 8 states could not access their information. They had to go to friends, other agents who had access to the MLS to ask questions. I was speaking in California at a conference, and I saw the company had a booth in the expo. It's like, I don't believe you actually showed up. They were under so much fire. I said, what's the lesson that you learned from your data breach? He said, number 1, tell people to tighten up. That means tighten up your cybersecurity protocols. We're going to do that today. Basic cybersecurity information that if you listen to me today, I can guarantee you that you cannot be the victim of a cybercrime. If you listen to me and do what I ask you to do, you can't be a victim. There are steps that you can take because most cybercrime is preventable. We're going to talk about that today. Secondly, he said to invest in cybersecurity training. We're doing that today. So thank you to Teresa. Thank you to your leadership for saying, I want to make sure my members are protected before something happens. Or if something's happened, I want them to know how to prevent it from happening again. So kudos to your leadership. Who knows what I mean when I say not only are we using AI, we're being used by AI. What does that mean?
I would say the information that we give it, it's putting it out there
Exactly.
for the world to see and use.
Exactly. Everything that we put in, AI is learning from it. Some of it could become public if you're not careful. There are ways to go into your settings to keep that information private. But again, there's no such thing as privacy. How many times have you seen a deleted social media image where it says the now deleted post? If it's deleted, how are we looking at it, right? No such thing as privacy. So all of our information is being shared by the tool. They're using it to learn. That means you don't put anything personal, proprietary, or financial in the tools. Do not upload your client's document and ask for an analysis. Do not upload your rent rolls and say, you know, what am I missing? Analyze it. You can do it, but there's a safe way to do it. Who can tell me the safe way to use AI to get custom information and to have it analyze your information? What's the safe way to do it?
Redact.
Redact. Thank you. Redact the personal proprietary information and then upload it. So just scratch out the customer's name and say, here's their information, give me a report. That's the perfect way to do it. Redact the information so you can still do it. Who here thinks that AI is a problem? Just thinks that we wish it never came along. So everybody embraces it.
There's good and bad. I mean, more is expected of us quicker now. I mean, it just the gift keeps giving. You know, Google came out, now AI, and
Right.
But we are able to move quicker because of it.
Exactly.
And
So
more
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You are the target. Another conversation, I got to interview a Colorado Bureau of Investigations agent, and she said, I talk to thousands a year. I reach thousands a year. What message do I need to take back? She said, tell them you are the target. That means every single person sitting in this room is a target. Why are criminals looking for you all in this industry? What are they looking for? Why are you the perfect hit?
A lot of personal information.
A lot of personal information, yours and your clients, a lot of financial information, right? So you all have a bullseye on you. It doesn't have to be bad. That's my job, is to remove the bullseye. Okay, who can tell me some of the top risks involved of being a property manager? What are some of the top risks in your job description that makes you think twice? Or should think twice? I'm not in a room of shy people, please no. I know I'm not, yes.
We have so much proprietary information, socials, driver's license, dates of birth,
You have, so you're the holders of all of that information, right?
Yeah.
So that's a danger. Thank you. Who else can tell me another danger of the jobs that you do, Stacy?
Showing properties to strangers.
Showing properties to strangers. Okay, thank you. Can anyone give me another one? This table's kind of quiet except for Teresa. I'd like to hear from you. Say it again.
Lawsuits.
Lawsuits, exactly. Liability, good one. Okay, so there are a lot of dangers in the job that you do. You screen tenants. What if they're using AI-generated fake identities? You have to market properties. What if scammers hijack your listings? They don't really need to do that anymore, right? They can just duplicate it, use AI, and make properties from the ground up. Full deep fake properties. You verify landlords and tenants, and they may not be real. What if that next property owner calls you and then you ask, hey, can you verify that this is actually your property? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to make sure that they're real and that they're not just hijacking someone else's property and listing? We're going to talk about that today. Yes?
You on that real quick. For anyone who may not have seen the email, there's an email that did go out from Narpm on that about a week ago. I actually, 2 Sundays ago, got an email from a guy named Wesley who wanted to do a new account call. He wanted to jump on a video meeting. Sounds like you guys got the same thing. Yeah, Jim sent it out and I shared that. But he wanted to jump on a video meeting. So you'll end up talking about don't let somebody else create the link. And when I finally skunked him out about, like, we don't let people create links unless it's a seminar, we'll send you a link, he disappeared.
Okay.
But he was trying to come on as a landlord.
Excellent point, and that is one of them. Thanks for bringing that up. That is one of the hot fraud topics right now in the real estate industry. Is the Zoom meeting link. Hey, I want to talk to you. I want to work with you, but can we meet by Zoom first? Here's my link. The answer is what?
No.
No. Okay. What if they really truly only need to meet virtually? They can only meet virtually. What's the solution?
Send them a link.
You send the link, exactly. You set up the meeting. I'd be happy to meet with you virtually. Here's my Zoom meeting link. So that's the way to solve it. Thank you for bringing that up, Teresa. The U.S. Department of Labor considers real estate sales and leasing a high-risk, hazardous occupation. I'm not saying don't do it. I am saying do it in a safer manner. They rate your job up there with convenience store clerk, law enforcement officials, taxi drivers. It does not have to be dangerous. I also teach a safe practices class, how to do your job safely. That means the showing, that means the evictions, all of that good stuff. Let's say you are the property manager who thinks you don't need to do a background check. You're a pretty good judge of character. You know, someone pulls up, you can look them up and down and determine whether or not they mean you harm, right? So let's say you have a high-end property, and then this fella pulls up in this truck. dressed like this, and you're looking at him and you're trying to make a judgment call based on what he looks like? Anyone know who that is? It is Sam Walton, one of the richest men in the world, the founder of Walmart. That is how he dressed. That is what he drove. If you use your judgment and you judge that book by its cover, it's going to cost you business, right? Okay, what about this fella here? I know someone knows who that is. Who? Ted Bundy, thank you. Is that what you said? Yes. Thank you. Ted Bundy, notorious serial killer. How did they describe Ted Bundy?
Kind, handsome.
Exactly. Handsome, charismatic, clean cut, good looking, right? If you judge that book by its cover, it's going to cost you, it would have cost you your life. Okay? I'm here to say in the age of AI, no such thing as seeing and making a judgment based on what someone looks like. You must trust your gut. And that means if you're looking at an image, if you're reading something, if your gut is telling you that there's a problem, you must listen to it. If you hear nothing else that I say today, if you get that funny feeling in the pit of your stomach, your heart's beating fast, if the hairs are standing up in your arms, the back of your neck, your body is warning you. And we all have that tool: gut, instinct, intuition, sixth sense, flight or flight, spidey sense, whatever you want to call it. Every animal in nature has that internal warning signal. Human beings are the only ones who ignore it. We ignore it because we don't want to offend someone, we don't want to hurt their feelings, and what if we're wrong? How embarrassing will that be? If you get that voice telling you that something is wrong, listen to it. Get out of the situation, make up an excuse if you have to later on, but that can save you a lot of trouble, especially in the age of AI. I saw this author, his name is Gavin DeBecker. I saw him on an Oprah show. He wrote a book called The Gift of Fear, and I have like 3 or 4 copies of this book. And this is a book that if you read it, it's going to change the way you think about safety. He explains that our intuition has one job and one job only, and that's to warn us when we are in danger. It has no other agenda. It has that one job, is to keep us safe. We need to listen to it, and right now most of us do not. And I bet every single one of you has a story where you thought something didn't feel right, I should have known better. That was your intuition speaking to you. Who thinks that AI can replace them? Who thinks that the job that you do every day can one day be taken over and replaced by AI? I don't see not one hand going up. No one? So you all think you're irreplaceable? There's no way. Tell me why.
Critical thinking, being able to take a step back and take a look at something and not just analyze it, but to have that human brain.
Okay, the human brain.
AI cannot play poker, but they can play chess.
Oh, okay, now I have to look that one up. That's intriguing. Oh, that's intriguing. Okay, so most of you think AI will not replace property managers. I was talking to a group of real estate agents. I was in West Virginia. I asked the exact same question. I said, do you think AI will ever replace you? She said, no. AI, until it can look people in the eye, shake their hand and smile at them, she said, I am not worried about my job. Meet Emeka. I saw Emeka interviewed by a journalist. I saw Emeka look him in the eye, shake his hand and smile at him. But there are some things that you need to worry about. Keep in mind that people are trying to replace all of us. What about during the pandemic when you couldn't show up and show properties? Self-showing was a good deal, right? So people were able to look at properties without you. So that's a way that you were replaced. Okay? In Las Vegas, there's a real estate company who wanted to have the first real estate company. His goal was to replace real estate agents, but there are things that AI image on that screen, there are things she cannot do. She cannot show up in person and show property, right? There's so many regulations about real estate. There are only so many things that the AI persona can do, but understand that the goal is to replace all of us. Warehouse workers do not have jobs anymore. So many of them do not. There's an AI CEO. Elon Musk is determined to make an AI, a humanoid, that's better than any person. He has the money, so his goal is to replace all of us. So what I am saying is AI is here. I want you all to use it. I'm an advocate of using it safely, and to make sure you know exactly what you're dealing with. Who thinks AI is our friend?
We need to embrace it.
Say again?
I think we need to embrace it.
And we do?
It's not going away.
Exactly. Who thinks AI is the devil incarnate? Okay, no hands on either one, so it seems like it's a tool.
That's all it is.
And any tool can be good or bad, right?
That's right.
and it can be used right or wrong. Exactly, great point. You can no longer believe what you see, what you hear, and what you read, and that is something that is dangerous, especially in business. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. A couple of years ago, dictionary.com made hallucination the word of the year. What does hallucination have to do with AI? Why are we talking about that? Because AI hallucinates. Another word for hallucination is lies. AI will lie to us. It makes it up as it goes along, and it wants to make us happy, so it will tell us something that may not necessarily be true. My job is to let you know to question everything. Here is someone who asked a question about the heaviest hippo ever. This is the answer that AI gave. Look how detailed the answer is. There's a name, there's historical information. If you did not know better, you would not know that that was completely 100% made up. AI made it up. And I've spoken to people who didn't realize that you have to fact check AI. I'm telling you, even if it's information of yours that you upload and you ask AI to edit it, you still must fact check everything. Every question, every statistic, every line must be fact checked. NAR has a code of ethics. And I want to make sure you all understand how AI fits into that code of ethics. You should use reasonable efforts to ensure that the property manager or your firm is current and accurate. Okay, it's apparent that information on the website is not current or accurate, then the property manager is in trouble. Who here has used AI to make a website? Okay, you have. So you need to understand, which tool did you use, by the way?
We're using it now. Claude.
Okay, Claude. Okay, so that is good, and it can do that. Almost all the tools now can do it, but you need to make sure that you fact check what it puts on there. And that's another thing, you don't want to violate the code of ethics. Second one is the property manager shall not exaggerate, misrepresent, misinform, or conceal pertinent facts in the advertising, leasing, and management of property. How many of you all use AI to write the property descriptions? All of us do, right? And one of the reasons we do it is because it writes it so much better than we can. It can make it sound convincing, kind of flowery, and just really appealing, right? You must fact check what it gives you. So if you're using it to write descriptions, you must make sure you're following all the laws. AI does not know the laws, so you need to scrutinize everything that it gives you. So you need to fact check, because we do not want you all to have any code violations. The most important thing, the most important steps that I can tell you when it comes to not only AI but cybersecurity is to stop, pause, and think before you do anything. Before you click a link, before you download anything, stop and think about it. If you get an image and you're questioning whether or not the image is real, stop, give it a moment, and think about it. I had the honor of interviewing a couple of real estate agents last year, a year ago, at the NAR legislative meetings in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Secret Service spoke to the Risk Management Forum, and he talked about 60 real estate professionals who were scammed out of $15 million due to a crypto scam. Have you guys heard about this? Is it on your radar? If it's not, it really, truly needs to be, because that is an understatement. More than 60 agents have been scammed. I know it because when I speak, there's always someone who says, Tracy, that happened to me, or I know someone that happened to. I've gotten the emails, I've gotten the messages. I did a program for, I always have to relate where I was, Santa Fe. When I got done with the program, I had a text message, and an agent said, Tracy, I have a 2:00 meeting with a guy who wants to talk to me about investing in crypto. She said, I think you saved me. Let me tell you what this looks like. It's a pig butchering scam. So the goal is, one of your clients may say, hey, I'm investing in this great business. You really ought to take a look at it. Let me tell you how it happened to the two agents that I got to interview. Both of them, two real estate agents, they did not know each other. Exact same thing happened. They had a client. They had to verify their funds. They looked at their funds, and one had $1.5 million in their account. And the agent said, must be nice. He said, I can show you how to do that too. Same thing on the other agent. She was a more sophisticated investor, but her client said the same thing. I can show you how. They talked to them about investing in a crypto app. There are legitimate crypto apps. So they invested in a crypto app, and it was from the App Store. So they thought everything is fine. One, she convinced her parents and her sister to invest. So total, they all invested $800,000. The other one, she invested I don't say 150 to start, and the article is online. She invested 150,000 to start, and they said you can borrow from the platform $250,000 so that you can buy more crypto now. This is a great time. She borrowed the $250,000 from the platform. Then she says, I don't like debt. I'm going to take out, I think she took out a HELOC, a loan to pay off that $250,000 in debt. And then when the scam reared its head, when both of them said it's time to get out, they were met with, oh, you have to pay a deposit or there's a fee. That's when they realized they had been scammed. At some point, the criminal moved the money from the app to another website that they controlled. They lost their money. But what they did is they contacted the local police, and the police said, we can't help you. They contacted the FBI, not so much. They contacted the U.S. Secret Service, and I need to get an update if they were able to get their money back. So bottom line, if someone's talking to you about investing in crypto, the answer should be what? No. If you're not familiar with it, if you don't know what crypto is, it's a hard pass. And in the article, that's what it's saying. If you don't understand it, it's not a good investment. So no to crypto, and they're specifically coming for the real estate industry. That's a conversation you can have with your sellers or your property owners as well as your tenants, anyone. You need to be talking about that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about deepfakes, voice cloning, and impersonation. Before I move on, anyone have any questions about anything that I've said so far, since I'm going to go right up to 1 o'clock and there won't be time at the end? Stories, questions, yes?
So yeah, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I talked to a local property manager who said that she lost $150,000 because her one of her leasing agents clicked on a link from a bank, but she thought it was from a bank in an email, $150,000 overnight, and she's local.
So she got an email.
She thought it was from the leasing agent got an email with a link on it. She thought it was from the bank, and as soon as she clicked on it, like everything got messed up.
So did everyone hear that? What's the lesson you learned from that story? Don't click on links, right? Don't click on links. I promise I get emails and it looks interesting. I will not click on it. I will go out and find the actual website and find if it's true. So thank you for sharing that real life story. There I am. Never been on a horse in my life. This is not happening. And when I show this picture, I always say my sister, she's sitting in the room, always focuses on the fact that my hair's not moving, not the incredible stuff that's happening in the picture. So those things never happened. But if you didn't know better, you would believe it because you saw it, right? Okay, here, and then my slides are not doing like they're supposed to. So what I do in my class is I say, how do you screen clients? So here is a client, you found her, she reaches out to you, she says, I want to work with you, and then you're thinking, okay, that's fine, let's work together, but I'm going to check you out. So you look and you see pictures online, you see her working, you see her on the beach, so you know she's real. You're going to check out her social media. Look at your clients, look at it could be your property owners, it could be the tenants. Look at their websites, look at their Facebook pages, know who you're working with, look at the pictures, look and see who you're dealing with. And then, I'm gonna see if I can make this little magical thing work here. Oops, probably not. I don't know what's happening here. Anyway, it's a video of her walking and talking. And I say, do a reverse search. We're going to talk about Google Lens, how to do a reverse search. Put her picture in, see if this client is real, if this seller is real, if this tenant is real. Do a reverse search and make sure that they show up. And she did. So what if I tell you that Tizzy isn't real? She does not exist. That person doesn't exist. But we looked at her Facebook page. We looked at her LinkedIn. We did a reverse image search. We saw her pictures. We saw her walking. We saw her talking, right? She does not exist. So what does that tell you going forward about meeting with new clients, whether it's a property owner or a tenant? Does that make your job a little harder now to verify that what you're seeing is true and that the person is real? Does it make your job a little harder? Yes. So many people don't even realize the technology is that good. The pictures look real. So many people don't know that you can do that. They don't know that that is a possibility. Now you know. So even if you're looking at a social media page, now you know to question it. That first picture, I saw a prompt where they said to make a picture look real, don't let it be perfect. So many people think if you see a perfect picture, then that must be AI. So the first picture is not perfect, it's a little crooked, the background is blurry. So the goal is to trick you into thinking that it's real. Going forward, every person in this room will now scrutinize every single picture that you see, am I right? Okay, and we're going to talk about how the AI detectors do not work. AI detectors is just a real picture, you run it through an AI detector, it's not accurate. What about that email that I got? Is this real or is it AI? The AI detectors will not it will not tell you that. So you have to learn how to verify. So looking at pictures, looking them up is not the answer. You need to learn how to verify. Okay, so let's talk about how AI is helping criminals. First, a clone voice. All they need is 3 seconds of your voice in order to duplicate and impersonate your voice. 3 seconds. And I have people who say, when someone calls me on the phone, I'll just answer it, but I'm not going to say anything. What happens when they call back and you don't answer it? Your voicemail is on, they get your voice anyway, right? All of us are told to be online, do video, go live. They can find your voice somewhere, online, somewhere, an interview that you've done, a video that you put out there, they can find your voice. So your voice, all they need is 3 seconds. So understand that. So if someone is calling you and they're saying, this is this is a lender, or this is someone in your office or a vendor, I need you to pay this invoice in a hurry. You know, we've had something come up and I need you to pay it right now. You're saying, oh, I know this vendor. We've worked with them forever and ever. I know them. I'm just going to go ahead and pay it. Not anymore. You must question everything. It may not be their voice. So you have to have verification processes in place. Video spoof caller, I'm going to talk to you. If someone calls you and you're calling, how many of you all get those calls and the caller ID has the local area code 816 or 913, so you feel this is good to answer? And then it's not? And it's someone trying to sell you something. You can spoof your caller ID and make it say anything. So just looking at the caller ID is not a way to say, oh, this is really my vendor because it's coming from their business. Absolutely not. You must question that as well. They're looking for those who have access to the information. Their goal is to make you move fast. Think fast. Hey, I've got this bill that I've got to get you. You have to pay it now or else it's going to jeopardize your term. So just go ahead and pay it and I'll explain later. The answer is no. If they're trying to rush you, you need to understand that is clue number 1, that this is more than likely a scam. So let's talk about it. In the real estate world, title video fraud. That is a big deal, deepfake. So let me tell you all a story. In Florida, there's a 19-year-old who wanted to buy a property, and his dad happened to be a broker. So he wanted to buy that lot. So he found the lot, and then, that's his dad, and then the title company said, wait, something's weird. Your seller, they never wanted to talk in person on the phone. They won't meet in person. It's always a text message. And the seller said, I have hearing issues. I can't meet you. I can't talk on the phone. So that's a clue. If they will not meet you and they will not talk on the phone, that's a clue. If they try to move you to something like WhatsApp and offline, then that's another clue. So you need to be aware of that. So she said, I'm not comfortable with this. Can we do a video, a Zoom? And they said, we can't do it. And then all of a sudden, she got a message, oh, we can do a Zoom now. So she said, thank goodness. So they did a Zoom. The bottom left picture is the Zoom. The bottom right in the blue shirt, that is the seller of the property. So the 19-year-old, the broker, they're talking about the property. And she said, your screen is glitching. Something's wrong. And they said, oh, that's just a bad connection. Most people would have left it at that. But she said, something doesn't feel right. Her gut said something didn't feel right. So she said, I need you to raise your hand. That seller was unable to raise her hand. At that point, she realized that's a deep fake. That is not a real person. That is a deep fake. The criminals took a missing person's ID, created a deep fake. They showed up on video as a seller. The title company was sharp and smart enough to save him the $53,000 he was going to wire. Not only that, but the $200,000 or $300,000 he was going to use to build on that property that he illegally owned. All of you all are the front line. So you need to be aware that this is out here, it is happening. So after today, are any of you all clicking on any video, Zoom links or meetings, yes or no? No. Anyone believing what your eyes are telling you, that you are on a Zoom with a person who really owns a property or who wants to buy or lease a property? Are you believing your eyes even if there's a video on the screen? The answer is no. So the question is, how do you work around it? How do you deal with that? Do you guys remember the grandparents scam? On the phone, someone would call older people, hey grandma, hey grandpa, I'm in trouble, I'm in jail, or I'm at the hospital. A real life one?
My only grandson was 2 years old.
Wait, your 2-year-old grandson supposedly called you?
Yes, right. Your grandson, I've been in an accident, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's very interesting.
You're only 2. Right, so you got lucky, but
hey, you don't call me grandma.
Right. And B, Not quite old enough to drive. Right, so this is happening. So every time I talk to someone who's been on the receiving end of these calls, so people would call people, they thought they were older, they wouldn't recognize the voice, hey grandma, send the money. I can't tell you how many retirement accounts have been drained because people believed it. So imagine in the business world, and that's my deepfake image, and you'll notice as we go along, I'll tell you when it's a deepfake image. That's part of the ethical way of using the tools, is to tell people this is a deepfake so that they don't think that you're trying to pull a fast one. But it also shows that you're relevant, you know how to use the tools, but secondly, you are disclosing. Okay, so there was a video call in Hong Kong, and I know most people have heard this story by now. He was on the screen, and this guy, an executive, was in a meeting with executives in his company. Someone says, we need you to wire $25 million. So he's looking at the screen, he sees all of the executives in his company, and he was given an order that he'd been given many times before. He wired the $25 million. Turns out he was the only live human being on that Zoom. Everyone on the screen was a deep fake. They're that good, and it's getting even better. So all of you going forward can never ever be in that situation, because now you know that it's possible and you know what to look for. AI generated voice calls. Someone can duplicate your voice and talk to your tenants, talk to your clients. So what is the solution? What was the solution for that being a problem? What can you do today to make sure if someone decides they're going to duplicate or impersonate your voice and call either your vendors or your owners or your tenants, what can you do today to stop that?
I think educate the clients. To
Educate.
Look out, and if ever something seems out of character, suspicious, to call us directly and confirm.
Exactly, and that's the number one most important thing, is to educate your clients. Hey guys, cyber criminals are out here, they're using AI, they're impersonating property managers. I just want you to know, if you ever get a phone call or an email from me that doesn't sound quite right, or even if it's my voice and it's asking for information that I should not be asking for, and if it's also making any request that doesn't seem right, just stop. Call me on the phone number that's on the business card that I've handed you, and you give them a standard operating procedure sheet, and on that sheet, standard operating protocol. On that sheet will be your phone number, it will be your email address, it will be your legitimate information, your maintenance person. Everything is on that one piece of paper. You give it to your tenants, you give it to your owners. These are the real numbers. If someone calls you and if it doesn't come from this number, hang up. So how do you stop those crimes? First and foremost, spot them. Urgency is number one clue. If someone says we're in a hurry, you know, I'm the maintenance person and we've got a problem here, I need to be paid, I've got to go buy this tool real quick, can you just send me the money and you can reimburse me later? I need to do it now. Stop. If there's urgency, that's clue number one, that this is more than likely a scam. This is a problem. If a tenant's calling and say, the basement's flooding, if you just send me the money, I can just go ahead and get it fixed and I'll just get the money from you later. We need it now. There's a flood and all of my equipment is getting damaged. Stop before you move and then check it out. Then the standard operating procedure is to go to a known number, not a number in a text message, not a number in an email, not a number that someone gives you. You have a standard operating protocol, a sheet that you can actually get that they can get the proper information to. You're having conversations when you take a new client on. You're saying, here's what's out here. I am equipped to help you deal with these scams and frauds. You know, I don't know if other property managers are doing this, but I educate my clients, I educate my owners. I'm telling you, here are the scams, here's what you need to watch out for. If you're dealing with tenants, the same thing, you know, work with me. I am looking out for you. So that's a way you show your value. Everybody, every business must have a code word. Every family must have a code word. If someone calls you and says, hey, I'm in the office, I'm processing the bills and I need to get authorization to make a payment, the first question you ask is what? What's the code word? If they don't know, say again?
Ours is pink folder.
The pink, okay, let's talk about that
We
real
don't have
quick.
pink folders in our office.
No, okay,
We have that pink
let's,
folder. I'm at 123 Main Street.
okay, now we all know. Okay, but so you'll be changing it this afternoon.
It'll be a different color folder.
Right. But let me tell you a little
But see
story.
how easy that is? Like, I wasn't thinking amongst innocence, and that's how easily we can be caught off guard.
Right, but let me tell you all a real quick story. Let me tell you a story real quick about folders and why folders are not necessarily the way to do it unless you do it in the proper way. Real estate agent in, I want to say Raleigh, Missouri. No, that's another story. Okay, so there's a real estate agent. It was Raleigh. who was showing a new client, never met a client before, right? So she was showing him. So they were scheduled to go look at 3 houses that afternoon. So they get to the first house and he rapes her. He said, we're going to the next house, we're going to do it again. She said, wait, I need to make a phone call to my office and make sure everything's okay with the next house. She calls the office and she said, hey, I need that red folder. The person on the other end said, what are you talking about? Help wasn't coming. So they went to the second house. She got lucky because someone was coming to look at the property. She got out of there. So whenever I speak across the country, North Dakota to Texas to New York to California, people know about the red folder. So the red folder is a clue. So if you all in the real estate industry know about the folder and you're on the phone talking about a folder and a maybe would-be perpetrator is standing there, are they going to be happy with you? Absolutely not. So maybe something else, maybe it's a pink glass or a book or something. So just keep that in mind. But even bigger, and I know your office has it handled. They know what it means when you say, here's our distress signal. So if someone says pink folder right now, your office knows that means they're in trouble. We have their location. They must have the location and they know exactly where you are and when you're supposed to be there. So if your distress signal is going to be something like that, make sure that everybody is on board. And I know Teresa's got that in her office. So code word. So have a code word, and this is in your family. If someone calls or asking for information or money or whatever and they don't know the code word, hang up the phone. So you need to have a conversation with the people in your family. Okay, deepfakes, voice cloning, and impersonation. If the caller sounds exactly like the owner and they're asking for an urgent transfer, if a maintenance vendor confirms a new bank account over the phone, that's a red flag. Resident hears a fake voice message and shares information, or if someone acts quickly, again, urgency is a clue. You need to teach everyone to stop, pause, and think. A familiar voice is no longer proof of identity. Your voice calling someone no longer means it's true. Getting a call from a vendor or a client is no longer true. So no more can you say, well, I heard them on the phone, it was their voice. Those days are over. You need to verify the identity on a second trusted channel. Someone's calling you, then you hang up the phone and you call them on the number that you know. Yes, Teresa.
I just thought of something I need to add in. So, we reached out to owners via email or phone call. Hey, the air conditioning's broken. You need to deposit this amount of funds. Maybe as we educate our clients, we can let them know that if somebody ever calls and says your air conditioning's broken, you need to deposit funds. We need to remind them that they know our portal. So if they're given information to deposit funds anywhere outside of our normal portal, right there, that's not right.
Okay.
I think that's a good way to go about that.
Excellent point. And again, that's the education. You're talking to your clients. And I bet most property managers are not taking the extra step of educating them. Hey guys, this is what's going on in the world. I want to make sure my clients are safe. So you're leading with safety. Now require callback procedures. If before anyone makes a payment, it can be over a certain dollar amount, they must call you on a known number. No more, oh, she called and I did it. You guys familiar with the broker gift card scam or the gift card scam? Someone will call. Could be the owner of your company, or you could get a call. Hey, I need you to pick up some gift cards. I'm going to give them out to all of our clients. Just pick up a few. I'll pay you back later. And then it's the voice of the actual owner or the manager. No more. You can't do it anymore because now you don't know who's making that phone call. So no more. There must be a call back on a known number. Hey, did you just call me asking for gift cards? It's a yes or a no. So you must make sure that you have procedures already in place, protocols in place where one person can't just be the one to say, yes, we're going to go ahead and get that payment made since it's an urgent situation. There must be a second person who works on that. Your staff should be trained. They need to know that this is what's happening. The phone call is no longer the answer. You must have training to recognize that. We talked about we talked about the CEO's voice. So let's talk right now. We have 10 minutes left. Your verification process. What do you all do now? You get a new owner. Do you just check out your tenants, or are you checking out your owner? Do they really own the property? Who are they? What is their reputation? What are you all doing right now when you get a new owner, a new client? Teresa.
We pull the deed, and if they are LLC, we get their operating agreement to check all signers. We're not
Okay.
getting their IDs and stuff, though.
Is everyone doing that? Is that the norm? Is that the proper protocol? Some people may just say it's a listing, we'll take it, and we're not worried about that. So good for you for taking the extra step to make sure you're actually dealing with the owner, the real owner. Virtual staging. How many of you all are using virtual staging to make your properties look good? Some people are saying no, but it's coming. Stacy, you are? Do you use a specific tool? Do you want to share with us? She says nodding.
Stacy, it's never quiet. Come on.
I use ChatGPT.
How did you use ChatGPT?
I just put a prompt in there to put the original picture and a prompt telling it to stage the property for me. But when I put it in MLS, I did say in the comments, I did say that this is virtually staged, and the information, the dimensions may not be exact. And then under the picture, I did say that this is virtually staged with AI.
So you disclosed it, and disclosed it, right?
Yes.
Some agents don't understand that you really need to disclose it. So that is something important. It's magical. ChatGPT, you can take a picture, you can ask it to stage the property, and it looks real, it looks realistic, any style, any design. But the key is disclosing it so that you don't violate your code of ethics. You must say what is true, what is real. If anyone is using Canva, Canva has a magic erase tool. If you don't use it right, it could get you in trouble. So you can remove the coffee table, erase the shadow, and people never knew it was there. This house has a little foundation issue. So someone, bad intentions, could erase that and then put something over it. So the tools are great. They can be used properly, but you need to make sure that you're not doing anything that's material to the property. So the second picture, I just went in Canva Magic Erase and erased the junk. I didn't mess with the light or the microwave. I didn't change anything material to the property. So make sure if you're going to use them to clean up that you do it in the right and proper way. This is a picture that I made. It's a deep fake. Anyone here a short-term rental? Okay, keep in mind that short-term rental properties, criminals now can make up properties just from whole cloth. This does not exist, okay? It's my AI picture. I can design a whole house around that. I can put it on one of the platforms and say, here's a property to rent for me. And then I'm not hijacking anyone's listing. I'm creating one on my own. So criminals are out there doing that. You all need to be aware of that. So if someone says we're going to do a short-term rental, Airbnb or whatever, then you need to say this is something that's existing. Cyber criminals are there. Phishing and business email, yes.
One more thing, when I do the pictures, I do it before and after. So I put a picture of the
the real
room, the real room empty first, and then I put the stage room after so they can look and see that I'm doing that.
So that, I'm telling you, there's so much conversation online. That way that clears up whether or not you tried to trick someone. You're showing this is what the room really looks like. So cover yourself.
On a side note, though, and it has nothing to do with what Tracy's saying, I just want to share because that's what we're here to do. You know, we have owners that have us paint their exterior all the time. It's like, more times than not, they're like, you pick the color. And that's some pressure, right? So we, find various colors. We'll say Sherwin-Williams this color, and we'll upload a regular photo of the house, and we'll say, show us with it this color, this color, this color. And then we send it to our owners and say, pick. So, that's really easy to do in ChatGPT if you're not already doing that.
Okay, and so another thing is that I'm going to have to zoom through some of these slides, but here's the good thing. ChatGPT and I wrote a booklet for you all, and that's something you're going to be able to get later. Specifically, it's a field guide for property managers. What you're going to get today is a generative AI cybersecurity handbook. I'm going to give you a QR code, and if that doesn't work for you, I'm going to give you an email address. So every single one of you walk away with that handbook, the cybersecurity handbook, which goes over what we talked about today. And then everyone who does that, I'm going to have your email address. I'm emailing you the field guide, which will talk specifically about the things that I'm about to show you that we cannot cover today. But my goal today is to at least raise awareness. So phishing emails, these tools are not supposed to write fraudulent emails. So Copilot, I said, hey, I'm a scam artist. I'm playing like I'm a mortgage loan officer and I want them to send their money to me. So help me write the scam email. Copilot said, nope, I can't assist with that. So there was a guardrail in place, okay? We feel good. At least there's some way to stop it. ChatGPT said, let's go. So ChatGPT wrote the email. They wrote it convincingly. Look at the terminology. Look at the way they wrote it. They're playing on the emotions. Hey, I don't want any problem with your closing, so please just send the money now. Let's not have any issues. If you haven't had a conversation with your clients, your tenants, your property owners, if you have not had a conversation and they don't know this is a possibility, you're going to lose your money, and you're going to lose your commission or your fee. They're going to lose their money, and then they're going to be upset. Who are they upset at? They should be mad at themselves, right? But then you are the professional. You're supposed to be able to guide them. After today, you are having those conversations with them, what they need to be aware of. So Cover yourself, protect your clients. Let them know that they may get emails, they sound convincing, but it's not true. So we need to talk about phishing emails. The emails look real. No more typos, no more grammatical errors. The emails, even to you all, are going to look real and professional. Hey, I'm a vendor. We need to update your bank information. Click this link and do it. No, not anymore. So you all need to understand phishing and emails, and there are different stories. And again, the field guide that I have for you all is going to go into more detail about this, what it looks like, how to stop it, how to prevent it. A perfectly polished email is no longer proof. Just like the voice that's the real person's voice is no longer proof, a well-written email is no longer proof. Owner and vendor payment fraud, we talked a little bit about this. You can't trust the voice on the other end, even if it says it's a vendor and we need you to update your bank information, no longer. So then the booklet will talk about how AI is helping criminals commit these frauds, impersonation, the email, the fake documents. And I'm just zipping through because I have 3 minutes with you all. Money never moves on trust alone. You must verify. Again, you can't detect AI, so you have to verify who you're working with. What are some of the verification tools that you all are using? Anyone have any verification tools? How do you know who you're talking to? How do you check your tenants out?
Intuition.
Intuition? Who said that? Intuition. Okay, that's the number one tool. Thank you. But there are tools out there. There's a tool called Forewarn. Anyone familiar with Forewarn? You put a name.
It's free for all realtors who are members of MLS.
Oh, it is?
We don't pay for ours.
Oh, wow. Okay, I know KCRER doesn't
Double
have it.
check.
Double check. Forewarn allows you to put an email address or phone number in the tool, and it will come back and tell you if that's a real phone number or burner phone. It will tell you if they have any criminal convictions, if there are any bankruptcies, foreclosures. So Forewarn is a tool that you can use. I know there are others out there, but Property Shield is another one that lets you know if the property that you have listed has someone tries to scam and post that property on a Craigslist or Facebook. It will tell you, hey, someone's trying to duplicate this title or take over this property, and it will not only tell you, but it will stop it. So there are tools like that that exist. And again, the handbook, I'm thinking the handbook might have recommendations, but it will cover these things: the listing, application, and document fraud. It's going to cover that. We've talked about this. So this is what's going in greater detail in the booklet. I've got 2 minutes, and I'm determined to get every single slide at least shown to you. Okay, but keeping in mind, this is what's covered in the booklet. In the ebook, you're going to get more details. So data disasters and unsafe AI usage. If a tool's not approved, if your office has not approved a specific tool, it should not be used. So ChatGPT, Gemini are the main ones. Everybody now has created an AI tool. So if you're a people or you shadow AI, they're using tools without telling you, that's a liability for you. If Susie made a tool in her basement, now your people, your staff are uploading information into somebody's tool, that's a problem. So we talk about that, that's addressed. Okay, so much information. The bottom line is protect the business before digital deception starts. You have to verify the message, who's sending it, is it real? Verify the money, the documents, are they real? Protect the data, that's your bread and butter, and keep a human in control. That means you have to fact check everything before it goes out. You must fact check the statistics, the numbers. You need to be at the end of any transaction making sure it is real, and that especially when the money's moving, you need to make sure before the money moves that someone else gets a say in whether or not it moves. Real quick, how do you tell if it's AI? They don't have their fingers quite right yet. Too many fingers, not enough fingers, maybe no fingers. So that's a clue. At some point, that's going to change. It's going to get better. Properties, they can fake properties, make them look real. So these are my deepfake properties. You put them in Google Lens. That is a tool covered in the booklet. Real properties will show up. Protect your owners from Craigslist scams. Create a Google alert for every address, or use a tool like Property Shield. Google Lens is a tool. Google Maps helps you share your location. You all should have a shareable calendar. Cybercrime, that's something we didn't get to talk about today, but we covered the main information. If you're on social media, be careful. Ransomware. We're talking about people who pay the ransom and the cyber criminal still shares their information. So you can't pay you're not supposed to pay the ransom. So the goal is to avoid it. If you don't have cyber insurance, please talk to your E&O or your agent and get cyber insurance. That's a necessity. Back up all of your information on a cloud-based tool like Carbonite. That way, if a hacker does get your account, they can't demand that you pay a ransom, or else they'll share the information or they'll keep it from you. Have it backed up on a cloud-based system. Always allow software updates, set up automatic updates overnight. Hack-proof your smartphone. That means there's a PIN or biometric on your smartphone, two-step authentication. In order to log in here, you have to go to a PIN over here. It's an extra step. The cyber criminals will never have both parts. You must have antivirus on all of your devices. You can get a free one called Avast, and then always your Google folder will let you know if a message might be spam. Cyber criminals are texting you all now. So just because it's a text message doesn't mean that it's good. They could be sending you a fraudulent text message and you still must not click the links. If you're using email, no Gmail, no Yahoo, no free mail, no free accounts. You must use your company's domain email, more security protocols, and they're less likely to be hacked. So no email, no free emails, no passwords. People can never remember their passwords. Isn't that a hard thing to remember? People can never remember their passwords. So use a password locker, Google Chrome browser, or better yet, instead of a password, passphrase. 2 or more unrelated words. No passwords, 2 or more unrelated words. It could be a full sentence. A better way is a passkey. That is biometrics, thumbprint, face print. I have a twin sister. Her thumbprint will not open my devices. So a cyber criminal is definitely not getting in as well. So that is the key. What we did today, education, awareness. Everyone here can never say we didn't know. We didn't know how cyber criminals are using AI. We didn't know about deepfakes or voice impersonations. You know, am I right? So every single person here knows. I've raised awareness. Budget for cyber training. If your office hasn't had it, you must budget for it. Get a certificate, show your insurance company, show your clients that we did what we could to reduce our liability. I hope I didn't overwhelm you all. I talk kind of a lot and I talk kind of fast. So I hope I did not. If you are the victim of a crime, report it to the FBI. They want to hear whether you think they can solve the crime or not. They need to track it. There's the booklet I'm going to give you all. It's a more updated version. Here's your homework. Take a picture of that, or remember, have I been pwned? Enter your email address. You are going to get a list of companies where your password has been on the dark web. It's been breached. Salesforce, Canva, a lot of passwords. Nextdoor have had breaches. That means your password is out there. You need to change it immediately. So this is your homework. And isn't this a great opportunity to touch base with your client and say, look what I learned today? Just go ahead and check out and make sure you all are not the victims of a crime or the victims of a hack, and they will appreciate you. I had 28 compromised passwords, so I had to go in and change them all. Check your passwords. Again, that's my program. I'm going to be speaking at Triple Play. Stacy's going to be speaking as well. I'm going to be talking about a property that's in New Jersey, and it's for New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. It's a national conference. So I'm going to be talking about property management and safety. If you all are going to be in New Jersey in December, come and see me. Here's a QR code, and on the next screen, I'm going to give you an email address. What I'd like you to do is scan the QR code and go to the drop down, look for the real estate information, and click that cybersecurity booklet. Everyone who downloads that free generative AI cybersecurity booklet, you are going to get the property manager field guide that I wrote. It's about a 30 or something page guide that talks about what we could not talk about today, and it reinforces what we talked about today. So click on that. Next will be the email address, just in case the QR code doesn't work. And please get that booklet on the real estate tab, cybersecurity booklet, and then watch for an email from me following up with the field guide that every property manager must have. And then here's my email address if that doesn't work. And yes, I have a Gmail account. People always want to point that out. But I don't have client data or information, so I'm okay. So does anyone, I'm 5 minutes over. I'm going to get fired. Okay.
You did phenomenal.
Thank you.
If anyone needs to go, they can go, but just a couple more minutes here.